Breaking news out of Indiana, where a house cleaner was shot and killed after showing up at the wrong house. Let's go to our breaking news correspondent, Shanelle Kaul, who's been following this case from the CBS newsroom. Shanelle, what are the updates on the case today?
Well, Liz, a big update coming from the county prosecutor of this case today in Indiana. They have now charged the Indiana homeowner, 62-year-old Kurt Anderson. He's been booked and charged with voluntary manslaughter. He is now being held without bail. The prosecutor in this case, Liz, Kent Eastwood, today during that press conference this afternoon, acknowledged that Indiana does have some pretty strong protections for self-defense, but also made it a point of mentioning that in his view, those protections don't actually apply here. Listen.
It is vitally important for the citizens of Boone County to understand that our decision today in no way should be interpreted as a challenge to Indiana stand your ground law or a person's right to self-defense. We respect those laws, believe in those laws, and will uphold those laws. Based upon the particular evidence and circumstances of this case, we have determined that Kurt Anderson's actions do not fall within the legal protections provided by the Indiana Stand Your Ground law. This case is not about undermining the law, it's about applying the law to the facts of this case, and that is what we intend to prove at trial.
Now, Liz, just to remind you what had happened here, this fatal shooting happened on November 5th in an Indiana suburb. Police say that this husband and wife who worked as house cleaners accidentally showed up to the wrong address. They didn't go into the home. They were standing outside of the home, and that's when shots began to be fired from inside the house. The woman in this case, Maria Florinda Rios Perez, she was killed. By the time police arrived, she had already passed away. This is somebody who was a 32-year-old Guatemalan immigrant, a mother of four, and families, Liz, say that she died in her husband's arms after she was fatally shot in the head. Now, today, prosecutors are saying this kind of case is very rare. They also made it a point to say that Anderson has no affiliation with any local police department. This afternoon, we're also getting reaction from Anderson's attorney responding to this news of this voluntary manslaughter charge on social media. I want to show you that statement. Part of it here says, quote, "I look forward to proving in court that his actions were fully justified by the Castle Doctrine provision of Indiana's self-defense law." Remember, I told you about that off the top. That law, he says, allows a person to use reasonable force, including deadly force, if he reasonably believes that such force is necessary to prevent an unlawful entry into his home. So the big question here in this case that jurors will have to ask themselves, Liz, is was this lethal force necessary in this case? We know that the initial hearing is scheduled for this Friday.
Such a heartbreaking story, Shanelle, especially the very gruesome details there. All right, Shanelle Kaul, thank you so much for that.